Hello again. Thank you for watching if you are watching, and thank you for sticking with me through this. I still don't really know what the point of this exercise is, other than I get too many thoughts in my head, and that becomes a problem sometimes. And I thought talking out loud to people who aren't small children is probably a good thing, and something I've been having a problem with, not just this week, but I've noticed in the last couple of days, is I have a problem with saying sorry. And my instinct when I started this video just now was to say, it's me again, sorry. And it's an inbuilt response. It's not something I'm doing on purpose. I don't realise that I do it. And one of the hardest things is whenever I'm told off for saying sorry, my immediate response is to apologise. And that's hard for everyone. That's hard for the people who I am apologising to, and it's hard for me as well. And I think perhaps I need to explain that a little bit, because it is confusing and it is difficult for people, because when you feel the compulsion to apologise, and it is a compulsion, it's not something you are doing to be annoying, and it's not something you're doing for attention. It's not something you are doing in order to make people praise you or say it's fine, you haven't done anything wrong. My compulsion to apologise stems from a very deeply seated belief that everything I do is wrong, and everything I do is inadequate, and that everything is my fault. This is not an uncommon feeling for people, especially for children who've lived through maybe a difficult family breakup or a sibling being injured or unwell. That sort of thing. Children put responsibility onto themselves in those sorts of situations. Even if a parent doesn't say anything, a child can still come to the understanding that this is their fault. And if parents help that along by putting down the child, if children are made to feel that their life experiences are not real, if they admit something to an adult and the adult says don't tell lies, apologise for that, stop being naughty, that can lead to that sense that my reality is not justified. What I feel cannot possibly be real. I am at fault for this, and I am hurting other people simply by existing. And that builds up into the compulsion to apologise at every opportunity. And I'm sorry if my voice isn't very clear as I'm saying this. I'm not sure that my words are the best. And I said sorry for that. But it does mean that as you grow up, even when a person says you don't need to apologise, stop apologising, it's fine, you don't actually believe it. And you know that eventually people are going to get angry with you for apologising. And that simply confirms in your head that you were wrong and that you needed to apologise and that everything is your fault. And there isn't an easy way out of it either. It's not something you can snap out of. It's been something that's happened my entire life. It's like I don't know what sort of a person I would be without anxiety. It's always been such a central core part of myself that I don't know that what I would exist as outside of that. And people will try and help, but you know that eventually they will get cross and they will just say, "Stop apologising, please," and that will be your confirmation internally that you are a bad person. There is no way to win. And a lot of people don't understand that, and that's fine. If you haven't experienced that, then you aren't going to understand. You don't, have that experience, and that's fine. But I thought I would explain a little bit of how it makes me feel, and that when I do apologise, I'm not doing it on purpose. And if I don't apologise, if I write something, I love to put up things that I've written and pictures that I've painted and things like that. But if I don't apologise, if I don't say sorry, there's a little part of me that is physically trying to force my hand. If you don't put sorry on this, if you don't apologise and point out that you know that it is rubbish, people are going to think that you're putting yourself forward, or that you're cocky, or that you're arrogant, and they're going to say, "Oh, that poor person, they don't realise how bad their work is." And your fingers itch if you don't write it. You physically feel compelled to do it, and if you don't, you feel bad. And I've gone back and edited things to apologise because I didn't. And it's difficult. And people will try to help you fix it with varying degrees of success. And I think the root of the issue is that it's not about fixing. I had a foster carer, an occasional foster carer, who when I was 10 tried to cure my anxiety by giving me an orange handkerchief. And I was to hold it and touch it and remind myself of it and use it when I got anxious, and that was supposed to cure me. But I still continue to have panic attacks before every single maths lesson. Things like that might work for an individual if they formulate that themselves. That's fine, but you can't usually force a cure for anxious behaviour onto somebody, or especially onto a child. And I suppose also in creating this video, I wanted to let people know that I am aware that I say sorry too often, and I am trying to fight it. And I do apologise that I'm going to fail quite often with that. But at least you know that I'm trying. It's not easy for anyone, I suppose. And I thought perhaps understanding that it is a very deeply rooted thing. I mean, we're talking over 25 years of a feeling of complete inadequacy and responsibility for things that go wrong. And if that's taken that many years for me to realise that what this problem is, it could take another 25 years to completely get over it. Who knows? And I suppose finally, this video, for me, is saying that I have very strongly held beliefs about being aware of the damage that adults can cause to children, even unknowingly. Don't call children stupid. Don't blame children for things. I don't care if you're in a bad mood. You do not blame your children. If you see an issue with someone else's child and you think that child might be in a situation of abuse, you can do something about it. It's not overstepping. It's not putting your nose in. And if you feel uncomfortable, tell a teacher or another adult, because if they are a mandatory reporter, they don't need to have evidence, they just need to have a reasonable suspicion. And they can put in that complaint and that issue, and then that goes on file. And then that helps, if it does develop, it helps that child's viewpoint be validated, and they can see that this isn't all in their head, this isn't all their fault. So it's not a particularly happy post, but I did just realise that I had a sequin stuck to my thumb from my mirror ball suit that I'm wearing. Hopefully wearing to one of the Noel Fielding concerts next month. I'm also terrible at endings, so I'm just going to say goodbye. And probably look back over this video and say, that's terrible, how dare I sound so horrible on camera, and delete it, but we'll see. And if it does make it up, thank you for listening, thank you for being wonderful, and I shall hopefully see you soon with my newly coloured hair. Bye.